Interesting PlayStation 5 developments? Interesting Xbox Series S developments? What? Yes, this is crazy. This is absolutely insane stuff that we're hearing. And again, it looks like Microsoft is coming out on the short end of the stick. Now, I can't imagine why that'd be. Maybe it's because they're like this huge corporate entity and they really just care about money and not really interested in what gamers want or what gamers need, and they're kind of after their own agenda. I'm not really sure, but I know that in any business, you have to pay attention to what your consumers want. You can't just pay attention to what you want. It's realistically a one-way street, and the customer is always right. So Microsoft tends to get that wrong more often than they get it right. Now, Digital Foundry has called them out on some things, and I'm looking forward to covering this because everybody's going to be talking about this. Everybody is talking about this, and this is some pretty big stuff and great news for PlayStation 5. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I really do appreciate it. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate that as well. It certainly helps out the channel, and it means a lot to me personally. A lot of people ask, hey, how can I support your awesome yet small channel? And you know what? I tell you what, the easiest thing you can do, hit the like button. Take a minute to consider subscribing. Hit the bell. And also hit YouTube notifications so you get notified of the content when it drops. I do daily content, everything unscripted, off the cuff, and my own personal thoughts and opinions. This is stuff that I love talking about. I love next generation talk. I love how we're getting into the meat and potatoes of everything. And it's so, the console war isn't a bad thing. I do really feel like it's something that a lot of people look at as a bad thing. But the funny part to me lately is people are acting like, the ones that go, oh, the console war is childish, the console war is this, the console war is this, the console war is toxic. Those are the ones on the front lines right now, partaking in it. So I've always been of the mind that, as long as it's not personal, and as long as it's really not hurting anyone, man, have fun with the console war, just like with sports. You like your team or whatever, and you don't like the other team, have fun with it. Just don't take it too far, and I think that's, the best advice I can give anybody. So we do know that the PlayStation 5 is a pretty significant piece of hardware. We also know that there's only a PlayStation 5 to develop for, right? That is a huge advantage, and now that's coming out even further of what a huge advantage this actually is for Sony. That means when a developer is making a next generation only game, they only have to hit one specification, one set of specs for PlayStation. That's the PS5. Yes, there's two versions, but that's the same console, just without a disc and with the disc. Pretty genius if you ask me. But the interesting part is that Microsoft themselves decided to go in a different direction. And obviously, last year even, we were hearing how developers weren't enamored with the Xbox Series S, then known as Lockhart, of course, and now it's coming out to full fruition exactly what's going on and exactly kind of what's happening with this, and the Lockhart situation is a bit of a rough situation. Digital Foundry covered this, and I thought they did it very, very well, and I'm looking forward to covering it for you guys as well. This is something that I feel like a lot of people should be talking about, but they also kind of talked about how, the Lockhart or the Series S wouldn't be able to even run, say a game like Horizon Zero Dawn at 1080p 60. So Microsoft is marketing this machine as a 1440p 60 machine, and Digital Foundry completely disagrees. I'm of course going to link this in the description so you can check it out, but I just found it to be very, very interesting that was sort of the situation and the case with this. Again, is it the end all be all? No. Take it with a grain of salt? I don't know. Listen, Digital Foundry, their entire job is to do things like this, is to cover stuff like this. So that's the fact of the matter that I feel very strongly about. And like I said, this is something that a lot of people will probably be talking about as well, just for the simple fact that, the Xbox Series S has been partitioned sort of to be this huge deal, like this big thing that everybody's going to take advantage of, and it's going to be amazing, and people are going to buy it, and it's going to outsell Sony, and Microsoft is going to win the console war once and for all, and it's for the good of mankind and all this kind of stuff. And the realistic kind of fact of the matter is that's not exactly accurate. So this is going to kind of put things at a perspective, and I kind of want to dive right into what was said So basically, there was the latest Digital Foundry video, and at the 1740 mark, the Xbox Series S, according to them, will play only OG Xbox One and Xbox One S versions of games via backwards compatibility due to Series S RAM constraints. It will not play the Xbox One X versions via backwards compatibility, as Xbox One X only 9 gigabytes of RAM usable for games. Series S has 8 gigabytes. Digital Foundry rumored to have heard it was 7.5 gigabytes usable for games. So this is pretty interesting news. So Microsoft is really doing a good job of pushing. Well, I don't know if it's a good job, because I don't think old games are ever really a great reason to pick up old hardware. But Microsoft are pushing, hey, you can play things enhanced and better frame rates and 4K and HDR, and we don't even got to touch the code and all this kind of stuff, right? And that's for the X, of course, but it looks like for their gimped console, the S, that's not necessarily going to be the case. Now, before people jump at this, right? Yes, Gears of War 5, I'm aware, was running at 120 frames per second. Again, that's a first-party studio. They have dev kits. They've obviously been optimized and things like that. Now, where it comes to something like, Assassin's Creed or whatever, or Call of Duty, those are newer games that are obviously optimized using dev kits to be able to accomplish this. So they realistically kind of give you plenty of information as to why this is something that could be a bit of a bad situation for Microsoft, and a pretty good situation for PlayStation 5. Listen, PlayStation 5 is going to be able to play over 4,000 PS4 games via backwards compatibility, okay? Again, you're going to be able to get, like, if something's dynamic or whatever, and they're also going to be able to be boosted. It's not going to be a problem. But can you imagine, you get your Xbox Series S and you want to go back and play a game, an Xbox One game, and and maybe you're coming off of the Xbox One X, right? You bought that, and so maybe you're a little bit timid. You don't want to go all in on the Xbox Series X because you were burnt once before for a $500+ console, and Microsoft didn't really well support it. So you dip your toes in with the Xbox Series S, only to find out that you went from playing 4K games to 800p or 792p games. That's probably exactly what's going on with a lot of these people, and what's going to happen in a lot of people's minds when this happens, next generation. This is really good news for Sony, because they even mentioned how Sony set up in a better situation, simply put, because they obviously have not the same kind of tactic of a half-done console, and I'm very grateful for that. I do think that what they've been able to sort of accomplish has been nothing short of a miracle. There's been so much kind of FUD and so much kind of nonsense talked about the PlayStation 5, it almost makes you kind of question it at times, but for me personally, I don't feel like there's a need to question it. The main thing that I see that kind of blows my mind is when you have the fanboy arguments like, oh, the Xbox Series S is going to have better performance than the PS5. Like, get out of here. Get straight on out of here. Listen, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The Xbox Series S is not a more powerful console than the PS5. Like, people sort of ran with that because of an IGN article, which was already debunked or whatever, about the CPU and it being quote-unquote faster. When it comes to speed and things like that, I think that it's pretty obvious that the PlayStation 5 was built for speed. That solid-state drive solution that they have is unlike anything else around. And, I feel like that's going to be huge for Sony going forward into, like, next generation and stuff like that. And it definitely gives them a huge edge. I don't see why people try to deny that. Listen, I'm a PlayStation fan. I want Xbox and PlayStation to both do great, but at the same time, you can't deny one thing over the other. Like, look, the Xbox Series X is the most powerful console, but you can't deny that the PlayStation 5 doesn't have the fastest solid-state drive solution. It just doesn't work that way. And at the end of the day, it does no good trying to lie to people about that. It just really doesn't. You can sit there and talk about the CPU's 0.1 and things like that. It just doesn't matter. It's not exactly smart and things like that. So we do have the Xbox Series S. A lot of people were giving Microsoft a big W, as it were, for this. But again, how is this a big W when they've announced yet another piece of hardware? They're launching 2 consoles this holiday and 0 AAA exclusives. Like, how are you launching more consoles than exclusive AAA games? I have no idea. I didn't think it was possible. Quite frankly, I get shocked by things that Microsoft do on a regular basis. Simply put, it's just undeniable what they do as far as, you know, they're this big conglomeration and things like that. I'm not saying that I dislike Microsoft. I'm saying that some of their practices and some of the things that they're you know, that they're doing or whatever, realistically, it just boggles my mind. I don't understand. So with that being said, I will link this in the description. I want you all to check it out. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is as big a news for PlayStation 5, and do you think all this bad news is good news for PlayStation 5? Because it seems like Xbox Series S is a bit of a misstep, and then obviously if you could price the PlayStation 5 digital within $100 of that, I feel like that would be a big win for Sony. Let me know down below in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter at @the_Crapgamer, Xbox Live MOH Space Crapgamer, PSN just Crapgamer. Please take it easy. Thank you for watching another one of my videos and taking time out of your busy day. If you if you would do me a favor and take a minute to consider subscribing, I'd appreciate it. Again, a simple like, that's all I ask. Please stay safe, happy, and healthy. Rack 'em up, my friends. Game on. Game on. Crapgamer out.
Unscripted.